Family and friends, welcome back. Today we talk about the human behavior of optimism, defined as hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. Now, most of us would like to believe that we are optimistic. However, according to 50% of those surveyed, they said they believed they were optimistic. 50%. Now, the true reason behind a positive outlook on life stems from a positive personality, a positive perspective, a positive belief system. The pessimist, as we discussed in the previous episode, is a naturally addictive human behavior, stemming from the social expectations of fear and negativity. All a very powerful force. Now, the optimists find themselves as few and scattered lights of hope in a seemingly overwhelming pessimistic environment. They truly survive by having a solid belief system in which strength and resilience come from within, an even more powerful source. As the pessimist thrives on outside influences, an optimist delves into their own positive nature and draws inspiration from like-minded individuals and their relationship with God, of course. They find the good in every scenario or circumstance. Their motto is that of perseverance and patience, the light at the end of the tunnel, that this too shall pass perspective. I know this not from studying the optimistic, but being optimistic myself. My behavior, perspectives, personality, they all exude a positive energy. Even when facing impending doom, I find a positive aspect to grow my optimism from. See, the glass is always half full for me. And I'm different in my thinking. I know it and I feel it through all that I've experienced in my life. I have a love connection with everything on the level that radiation has a connection with the sun's rays. No words really that can explain the feeling. But in simplest terms, I see love first in everything and would have to be convinced otherwise to react differently. I believe that most optimists do. It's just how we are wired, positive before negative. In a world that feels like it is increasingly becoming more pessimistic, the optimist has to be able to persevere and overcome the overwhelmingly accepted pessimistic views that society is now accepting as a norm. The drain on the optimistic personality types are a very real problem because we are expected to be this way indefinitely. The support for positive thinkers only comes from other positive thinkers, leaving us like buoys in an ocean of pessimism. So, can a person change from a pessimist to an optimist? Well, from my experience, very unlikely. However, optimists are always one negative experience away from becoming a permanent pessimist. It turns out that it is easier to break a soul than it is to fix one. It's really about perspective, however. From my perspective, souls can't be broken, but do comprise of specific roles that bring a balance to nature. It is the reason why opposites attract, the same reason magnetism exists. You see, as underproductive as a pessimist may be, they are essential for the counter energy produced by optimists that actually moves the entire human experience forward. It is the constant pull and shove of human interaction, thoughts and motives that actually keeps humanity accomplishing and aspiring to greatness. It's similar to the vacuum of space, which in this case would be the pessimist, and the gravity of the earth, which is the optimist. One cannot survive without the other. The challenge in interpersonal relationships is being able to identify which behavior trait you are communicating to at any given time. Now, if one can master identifying who's who sooner rather than later in the conversation, we can actually have more productive conversations. Because then you realize you are not there to change a person's mind. You are there to enable a course of action, one that may be more inspiring than the conversation itself. The pessimist will say, I can't, I won't, I believe I don't, in a negative affirmation, and the optimist says, I can, I will, I must, in a positive affirmation. The result is, and always will be, a balance of either reality, a compromise to concern, idea, or problem. This is how we have sent a man to the moon, or mastered flight at all. Reasonable doubt and inspirational aspirations has delivered over 100 years of advancement in flight and space exploration, some of man's most technological achievements. So, why do I find these human behaviors so important to discuss? Well, I believe understanding and identifying which ones you practice will lead to anyone becoming more effective communicators. As we all know, good communication is key to a lasting and prosperous relationship. A person is actually able to have an understanding for their partner, family, and friends that ensures the basis for growing trust and respect in the relationship. As trusting and pessimistic and optimistic as some of us are, one thing is for certain: we are human. And with that label comes a host of motives, failures, and successes that will test the best of our ability to cope, to persevere, but most importantly, to thrive as the human experience expands into the future. Communicating comprehension is key, and understanding the role of these behaviors is crucial to that key. With that said, family and friends, stay tuned to my next episode as we begin to discuss interpersonal communication skills. The first being that of verbal communication. Until then, as always, may you have a meaningful and purposeful week. God bless.